Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and senior members of the industry. Well, I know this session is going to be a little bit difficult for everyone because, we all had a good buffet. And moreover, apart from that, I'm not a great speaker. In fact, I'm quite boring, and I will tell you all those stories which exactly you all know for last 20, 30 years almost. So in fact, just allow me 2 minutes while I present to you a presentation about data security, and we will be discussing further questions after my presentation. Thank you. Okay, that is for forward. All right, I was been given the toughest task to speak on navigating data security in digital India. In fact, I deal with data. My organization, the past organization, National Health Authority, definitely deals with a lot of data right there, specifically Aadhaar, Aabha card, and various other things. So yes, we have faced a lot of challenges, and there had been a lot of learning through that particular phase. So that is how exactly, I will be able to express my views on what exactly we should do to mitigate the risk over the data. Well, safeguarding data in the age of digital transformation is one important factor. Post which I see Digital India Initiative and data generation. This is one thing what exactly we would like to discuss at the initial stage when we speak about the data security anytime. Because as the Digital India Initiative was started by Modi ji, and in fact, prior to him, there were other governments too which actually initiated the digitalization process way back in 1990s. So we have been accumulating data in each and every sector, either be it BFSI, whether be it the power sector or healthcare sector. But in last couple of years, specifically in last 1 decade, I see there is a drastic change in accumulation of the data, handling the data, the policies related to the data, and the processing of data. I would like to speak about Digital India Initiative, which is driving the rapid digital transformation and growth across all sectors. As I mentioned, that all sectors, BFSI definitely they deal with financial instruments. They have got their different rules and regulations. RBI is definitely handling the policies and everything. Beyond that, we have got payment card industry, which is also dealing with specific transactions related to policies and other things. And when it comes to power sector, we are dealing with ECA guidelines. And also, we are trying to go through various certain rules and regulations which are actually, been given to us. Apart from that, when we speak about the industries what we have are healthcare, BFSI, power sector, education, travel and tourism. The massive growth in different data generation and data accumulation and its transmission and storage had taken place in last few years. Specifically, if we see the example, last 4 years had been really very challenging and tough, because as soon as the COVID-19 started, we all went into the digitalization stage where exactly each and every person was using our electronic assets to communicate with the rest of the world or rest of the members of their team, or maybe the family, or maybe, outside the world too. In fact, that is where exactly, we started accumulating the data more, and that is when exactly we realized what are the things we need to do to protect the data, what we are transferring or sharing to other people. What is data security and why is it required? Data security is nothing but, securing your personal information or the information what you're sharing to the cyber world. Be it your credit card information, be it your email address, your telephone number, your name, your personal information over the Facebook, Instagram, or through emails or organizational data, where exactly you have lots of things in various sectors, and every industry is having a different set of data which they are dealing with on and off. And there is a transformation every single day. So what data is being collected yesterday, maybe the organization is not taking care of that particular data, but moving on to another level because of the AI and ML issues. Now, as we see, I'm sorry, just give me a second. Protection of personal privacy. This is very, very important because these days, the young generation has been going on Instagram, Facebook. They are actually, opening up their location services, which has been provided to Google and various other, applications. And of course, the data has been transmitted to, various other servers across the world. And they communicate and deal with all the information, and they, take the access of all your applications and the information, what exactly you're dealing. In fact, the children right now, these days, when they are using the cell phones for the video calls or maybe for their school classes or the college classes, they knowingly or unknowingly are transferring the data to each other in such a way which is not at all encrypted. And that kind of data is exactly, posed by the hackers always. And that's at, higher risk, specifically the Aadhaar information, because, most of the guys, they definitely ask you that please give us the Aadhaar card, we'll do the needful for you. And we definitely don't think what exactly Aadhaar may do. But we transfer it over the WhatsApp to any person. Specifically, if you see, I've seen many people, those who travel across India or maybe abroad, definitely they carry an Aadhaar card along with them. If they're not having a hard copy of it, there is a person at the reception of the hotel who is asking you that, sir, do you have a valid ID? You say yes, and you provide your Aadhaar right there. But do you even know, if you are giving the copy of the Aadhaar straight away to a person, what exactly is happening at the back end? Of course, they might be dealing in a very secure way, but whereas sometimes, that particular data can be misused by some other person. So definitely I suggest, take precautions, maintain privacy. Prevent cyber threats on the data generated. This is definitely required because, as the cyber world is having a cyber war, they are attacking, they are having a ransomware attack, they are having, malware attack, and they are having different kind of cyber attacks. Why is it happening? It's all happening because of the data which has been generated. Because in today's date, data is money, and data is time. Because most of the organizations, they spend a lot of time generating the data for themselves to actually understand how should they navigate their future business. And that is the data which exactly, hackers are looking for, because, that's the easiest way to hack the systems and get the data in a very short span. Trust in digital transactions. Definitely, data security will improve the trust in digital transactions always. As we started using UPI payments, more than us, the fraudsters, the cyber criminals are more active. They have found millions of ways to actually get into the system or maybe fool around the normal public, the normal citizen of India, or the users of the digital payments, and hack into their accounts, get the money out, which is the easiest way. So definitely, data security develops the trust in digital transactions. Intellectual property protection. Data security also, does intellectual property protection. Business continuity and resilience. So data security definitely does a business continuity because, you have to plan if in case your systems are hacked, if in case you get into the worst situation, what is your plan B? Because plan A and plan B goes all together always. If in case the plan A fails, definitely an organization or a person has to take an action on the plan B and immediately activate it so that you have a very less downtime. Because of the downtime, many organizations face, loss of billions of dollars and millions of dollars every single day. And we can find the examples over in last 2 weeks, even, the Meta has faced a cyber attack, DDoS attack recently. And not only that, there were a couple of other attacks in the recent days, which exactly you can read on and off. Global competitiveness. So, when we are maintaining the data security, it enhances an organization to actually, follow the global competitiveness, and, it will be into a very good level. Ethical data handling. This is very important factor because, when an organization is generating the data, it is a responsibility of the team and the organization to handle that particular data in a proper way. If in case that data goes to hackers or some other person, that can be misused. So definitely, specifically BFSI and healthcare sector, we always advise them to use the best of the best practices to actually, maintain the ethical, data handling practices. Compliance with regulations like DPDP and GDPR. Of course, GDPR is existing for last couple of years, and DPDP has started in 2021 and 22, in fact. So we have the policies, rules, and regulations where exactly clear guidelines have been given how to handle the data and what to do and what not to do. New trends in data security and benefits. There are a lot of new trends in data security. Adoption of AI and machine learning. In fact, the last session, I was listening to two members right here on the stage. Definitely their points were very, very valuable. So adoption of AI and machine learning is very, very important, and utilizing artificial intelligence and machine learning algorithms for advanced threat detection. This is one of the aspects which is more important because, definitely the data can be processed through AI and ML. But protecting that data is also very, very important. So ultimately, we need artificial intelligence to fight with artificial intelligence in future. And even now, for that matter, we have been using a lot of artificial intelligence in cybersecurity so that, we can mitigate the risk and protect the data, what exactly we are dealing with. Blockchain technology, implementation, integrating blockchain technology for secure data transactions, decentralized identity management and immutable data records, enhancing trust and transparency in digital interactions. Zero trust architecture, this is one important factor. Until unless major organizations have zero trust architecture, we cannot have everything under one roof. So ultimately, it's very, very important that larger organizations or, I can say enterprises level, you should have a zero trust architecture always. Well, one another factor which I would like to tell you, I'm sorry. When, we are having a zero trust architecture, we also have, less of insider threats incidents. Because insider threat is one important factor we have to deal with every single day. It can be a mistake by one of our employees, and it can be a blunder for an organization. It can be very, very disastrous anytime. Mostly, I can give you an example that, a security breach, or maybe you can say a small incident that a guard is given a wrong business card. You got an access to the lobby, you are sitting right there, you have an access card, you have an access to some other place, and ultimately, you go talk to somebody, bribe the person, and deal with that particular person. Or maybe, you talk across the platform, social platform, you catch hold of that person, bribe him, or maybe, you blackmail him or whatsoever, and that person who is working in the organization will actually give away the data to the other person just because of blackmailing and other things. So these can be various examples where exactly, we have to be very careful, and insider threat is very, very common, and majority of the incidents are either because of the mistake or voluntarily just because of some benefits. So insider threat is very important for every organization. Now, cloud security solutions. So definitely, we have secure web gateways and various other things in place where exactly, we can have a cloud security solutions for, protecting the data. Endpoint security enhancements, this is definitely required. Every laptop or the end device, maybe the servers whatsoever, should have, basically endpoint security. Endpoint security enhances and lets you know about the viruses, the ransomware, and the new trends of the viruses or any kind of malicious files which are actually sent or been interacted with your servers or maybe your endpoints. So endpoint security enhancements are definitely required, and I suggest, depending upon the requirements of the organization, one organization has to choose the best of the best endpoint security tool, or maybe a comprehensive tool which can actually give you an overview of the entire network and can monitor the logs and give you the aspects of threat intelligence. Data privacy regulations and compliances, these are very, very important, because as we have got DPDP in place, we have got GDPR in place, so ultimately, we have got regulations to follow, and data privacy and data security can be maintained due to that. Threat intelligence and cybersecurity automation, one aspect where exactly, you can have a simulator. You can actually, hire the agencies, the security operations or cyber defense centers, to do the task for you. Go and take the simulation of your network and your systems. You will get to know how well prepared your organization is to take care of cybersecurity anytime. There are incident responders in every organization, even with the SOC and the Cyber Defense Center. They help you mitigate and make you understand how exactly you can actually use the best use of threat intelligence and cyber security automation. Optimal strategies for safeguarding sensitive data. When we are dealing with the data, maybe I'm sending an encrypted file, maybe I'm sending a confidential file which has to reach only specific people, and out of which there are people those who are using Gmail also. Because in some organizations, it's very common at the smaller scale that they are using Hotmail, Gmail, Yahoo, and other things. So definitely the email is going out of the network. At that particular moment, if we are sending an unencrypted file as an attachment, which is very critical, maybe a balance sheet of the organization, maybe names and phone numbers of the employees, those who are working in the organization, or maybe any other data, any other form of data. So when exactly we are sending that, it is possibility that it can reach a wrong person. So ultimately, not to have the access to the data, it's always important to encrypt the files and make sure that always the data which has been kept at your servers at the back end has to be encrypted always, so that even in case of cyber attacks, the data is very much encrypted and nobody can hack it. Then we have access control. RBAC means role-based access control, and MFA is multiple factor authentication. So these are the kind of access controls what can be implemented into the systems, so that every person do not have the same access. According to the roles and responsibilities, definitely for ages we have been doing that in the IT sector, that according to the roles and responsibilities, people are having an access. But now it has to be enhanced against the cloud and artificial intelligence also. Maybe a wrong click can do a wonder and a blunder. Data masking and tokenization, this is an important factor where exactly we can protect our data and we can actually mask it always. We can mask the data and send it across. And also tokenization plays a major role. Secure APIs and interfaces. Many of the organizations, they develop APIs, they don't take care of it, they leave it like that. Majority of the hackers, they use the APIs, they use against the system and the organization. So ultimately, if somebody is generating an API, definitely they also have to make sure that they are making the secure APIs and interfaces, so that the interaction, the communication between the systems are encrypted always. Data loss prevention, definitely this is one of the strategies for safeguarding sensitive data. Secure configuration management, this is important because most of the IT guys, they keep doing configurations right then and there. So we have to ensure that every configuration which is being done has to be monitored every single day by some or the other person. And maybe if the person has done the viewing or the modification that has to be checked or audited by some other person again. Network security controls have to be very, very strong, because if in case your network is hacked, definitely, all the systems will go corrupt and you will never be able to communicate with each other, and your entire network will be down for hours and you will never be able to get up in a very short span. So make sure that network security controls are in place and we take best of the best steps. Data backup and recovery, this is very important, because as we are generating a lot of data every single day, there is 1 TB or 2 TB of data which is accumulating at the back end. So definitely when it has been accumulating, we also need to take a backup of that. The reason why we need to take a backup is to move fast. If in case of cyber attacks, if in case somebody has an access to your data, at least if you had a backup at the right time, you can actually continue the operations in the best time. And you can get back within seconds or minutes or maybe an hour. But at least you will not have a downtime for longer time. Then we have compliance and auditing. This is one of the functionalities which we have been going through. So compliance, if followed properly, if we are taking the protocols in place, we are maintaining the security according to the compliance, then I believe, everything becomes very, very nice. And ultimately, auditing is very important, because until unless an outer agency audits your systems or people or the organization or the structure or the policies, we will never be able to find out where exactly we are lacking, because we think we are 100% ready, but where else? We might be 99% or 99.9, and the 0.1%, the vulnerability will be shown by the auditor. And because they are the right people, those who can, because being inside, we cannot see what exactly is happening and how the things are. So ultimately, an outer person can see the circle and can see the loop everywhere. Then employee training and awareness. Many of the organizations give the training just once in a year. I suggest organizations and all the key leaders right here to give the training every quarter, at least once. And moreover, specifically for security, there should be a specific team which needs to train the newcomers and various other people in the organization and keep the security postures straight always. Understanding the digital identity and ecosystem. Digital identity ecosystem establishes trust, enhance security, enable seamless user experience, and support digital transformation initiatives. Identity verification, as I mentioned, Aadhaar, that is one of the parts. Identity management, this is definitely required. Authentication protocols, these are the systems, these are the protocols which have to be followed for authentication, because, many of us are actually communicating with multiple APIs and multiple, servers of various agencies, specifically the government ones. So, identity verification, identity management, and authentication protocols, digital identity attributes, privacy and consent management, digital wallets and credentials, cybersecurity and fraud prevention, interoperability and standards. So these are, I'm sorry, I pressed the wrong button. So understanding the digital identity and ecosystem has all these points which needs to be covered always by an organization. Now, government regulations impacting data security practices. As we all understand that India was going through a phase when exactly, there was a lot of data accumulating at the back end, and we were thinking what to do, because, we had a lot of cyber criminals in the past, and now definitely the strength has definitely increased. They are getting much better than the organizations, those who are working in the professional way. And in fact, I must say that cyber criminals are more effective, and, they are working in very, very professional way these days. So we have to definitely, see the regulations which are being made in DPDP. And also, if in case you're following GDPR, maybe some of the organizations may be dealing with the European continent also, can actually go to DPDP. The Information Technology Act 2000, this is in India. Digital Personal Data Protection Bill 2022. The Reserve Bank of India RBI guidelines, which were recently given the fresh guidelines. Computer Emergency Response Team, that is certain guidelines which we already have in place. The Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard, PCI DSS, what we call, is another regulation and the security practice. Sector-specific regulations, as I mentioned, that the payment industry, basically, those who process the payment gateways like Razorpay or PayU, they follow PCI DSS standards. And organizations like, I can say, Rajdhani BSES, and also Uttar Pradesh Power Corporation Limited, and various other organizations, those who are into power sector, deal with, CEA guidelines. And also apart from that, there are a couple of other agencies into different segments, those who follow different rules and regulations and the compliances. International agreements and standards, as I mentioned, GDPR is one of them. And apart from that, there are a couple of others too, which everybody has to follow. So that, if in case you follow these guidelines and the compliances, definitely your organization is going to get benefited in terms of growth and in terms of maintaining the security protocols. Strategies for workforce development and data security, training and awareness programs. As I mentioned, this is very, very important. I suggest and recommend everyone to have a quarterly sessions in your organization for security, because if in case you maintain data security, if you maintain cyber security, if you maintain network security, if you maintain the physical security, which is the topmost layer, because there are 7 layers of security, which comes, data security is the last and physical security is the topmost. So ultimately, all these security levels definitely will have to be maintained. And every organization, every person, according to the roles and responsibilities, should go for a training on and off. Role-based training, as I mentioned, this is one of the factors, because according to the roles, you are supposed to be given the training to your employees to handle the systems and the data in very efficient way so that they can protect your organization in no time. Simulated phishing exercises, attack surface management, continuous automated red teaming, breach and attack simulation. I know for some of you these words can be new. These are quite old, but of course for some people it can be new. So these are the simulating exercises, attack surface management, CART and BAS. We call them BAS and CART. So, you can have these kind of simulations specifically into BFSI industry and healthcare sector. Most of the people are taking the services so that they understand the structure, where exactly there are lacks, how the incident response teams are reacting when exactly there is any kind of incident happening, what is happening to their data when exactly, these kind of attacks are taking place. So ultimately, you get an overview, and also sometimes you get an in-depth information, because, this is just not once you have to go through this practice, you have to go through it multiple times, but not often. We do not recommend it often. We recommend at least once in a year. Then certifications and continuing education. So definitely all the employees, I suggest and recommend that if in case there are employees working for you, those who want to learn, perform, please encourage them to have certifications in security like CISA, CISA, CISM, CISSP, CompTIA Plus, and various other, certifications in PCI DSS also. Promote a culture of security. I always speak to many people, and I always found one thing, that majority of the leadership or the executive team committee at the organizations do not take care of the security too much, because they think, okay, we are dealing with a smaller amount of data, we don't need cyber security. We don't need it. So I suggest it's a mindset we have to develop from the executive class to the lower class. Because if the top management thinks about the security sometime, definitely, they can actually push it to the next level, and that next level will push it to the next level. That is how exactly the pyramid structure is made. If you drop a water at the top of the pyramid, definitely it has to flow the same way to the bottom. Cross-functional collaborations. So, if in case you do not have a team, you are not efficient enough to handle the security, please hire the agencies. Collaborate with someone who can actually guide you. Hire the people from outside. Hire the people, the experts from outside, and they will guide you what to do and what steps you should take to actually protect the data always. Regular security awareness and campaigns and audits. As I mentioned, we covered this point in the previous slide also. Performance metrics and feedback. Gauging the performance or evaluating the performance of an employee is very, very important. So please do that. That also gives you an idea that how a person is dealing with your internal operations. So if in case somebody is dealing with better efficiency, you can actually keep them as a leader, and you can ask that person to guide the other people so that your organization can grow better. Well, that's all, and I think I had an overtime of 9 minutes. So really sorry after the lunch, and I would like to thank everyone right here listening to me patiently. If anybody has any questions, I can answer it anytime, maybe offline or maybe right now. And this is my contact number. If in case somebody wants to contact me, I am reachable at this number 24/7.